Picture this. Cassandra, 29 years old, all dressed up and ready to walk down the aisle, the whole 9 yards. She's about to marry her fiance, James. 30 years old, supposed to be the happiest day of their lives, right? But just as she's getting ready to head to the ceremony, James's best man, Michael, pulls her aside. Oh, and Michael was 31 at the time, by the way. Anyway, so Michael pulls Cassandra aside, and he's got this look of just complete panic on his face. And he tells her that James is gone, like poof, vanished. Nobody knows where he went. Cassandra is absolutely stunned. I mean, can you even imagine? Naturally, she rushes back to their apartment hoping to find some kind of explanation, maybe a note, anything. But things just get weirder when she gets there. All of James's stuff is gone, too. It's like he just disappeared into thin air. Years go by and Cassandra hears nothing from him. Absolutely nothing. Thankfully, she's got amazing friends, especially her best friend, Rachel. Rachel was 28 back then, and Rachel is a true ride-or-die friend. She even went with Cassandra on what was supposed to be their honeymoon. They ended up turning it into this whole healing trip, which honestly speaks volumes about Rachel. Therapy also helps Cassandra to process the trauma and, all the massive trust issues that come with being abandoned like that. It takes time, but she slowly starts to rebuild her life. Eventually, she meets this guy, Nathan. Nathan's 32, seems like a genuinely good guy, He's supportive, understanding, and they fall in love. Things are finally looking up for Cassandra. It seems like she's finally found some peace. But then, out of the blue, she gets a text from James. He found her through a mutual friend and wants to meet. He says he owes her an explanation. This text, it throws Cassandra into a total tailspin, right? Should she even meet him after all these years? What could he possibly say to justify what he did? She talks to Rachel about it. Of course, Rachel's pretty cautious about the whole thing, as you can imagine. She talks to Nathan, too. And, Nathan being Nathan, he tells her that he'll support whatever decision she makes. After a lot of soul-searching, Cassandra decides to meet James. But she wants to do it on her terms. So they agree to meet at a local park. Nathan goes with her but stays back a bit, gives her the space she needs. So James shows up, and it's obvious that he's been through a lot. He looks older, kind of worn down. He explains that he's been in a 12-step program, and that part of his recovery, involves making amends for the past. And then he just drops this bombshell. He confesses that he was struggling with drug addiction the entire time they were together. He was using drugs to cope with a secret that he felt like he couldn't share with anyone. He's gay. His family was really homophobic, so he felt like he had to live this double life. And to make things even more complicated, in the last year that they were together, James was actually in a relationship with a coworker, a guy named Aaron. Aaron was 27 at the time. And get this, Cassandra had actually met Aaron a few times without ever realizing he was James's boyfriend. It's just crazy, right? So as their wedding day got closer, Aaron gave James an ultimatum. Choose him or keep living a lie. And on the day he was supposed to marry Cassandra, James chose Aaron. He packed his bags in secret and left, leaving Cassandra to deal with the fallout all alone. But the story doesn't end there. James and Aaron's relationship didn't last. James's addiction just spiraled out of control, and eventually, Aaron left him. James hit rock bottom. One of his partners overdosed, and that was the wake-up call he needed to finally get help. So now, years later, here's James standing in front of Cassandra, apologizing for all the pain he caused. He asks for her forgiveness and promises to leave her life for good. Cassandra, despite all the emotions going on inside her, she stays composed. She tells James that she forgives him, but not for his sake. She forgives him for her own peace of mind. She makes it clear that she doesn't want any further contact with him. And James, he seems to understand. He leaves, saying he's going to leave town.
So Cassandra gets back home, and she finally breaks down. Can you imagine? Nathan's there, of course, and he's just being Nathan. Comforting her without pushing her for details. He just orders her some takeout, her favorite, and lets her process everything in her own time. And in that moment, Cassandra realizes just how far she's come. She sees how much better her life is now, even though it took a lot of pain to get there. And later on, when she's reflecting on everything, she realizes that meeting James, it didn't really give her closure, but it did show her just how much she's grown. The worst day of her life had, in a way, led her to this place of strength, self-awareness, and real love.